We are recording.
A very good afternoon to everyone. I'm Professor Vanisha Nambiar, and today we have another seminar, a webinar actually, on advances in public health nutrition. Today's speaker is Ms. Sabat Ansari, and the moderation is going to be done by Ms. Sampada Agnihotri. Both are very bright minds and PhD students of the Department of Foods and Nutrition. And since the Rashtriya Poshan Ma 2021 talks about converging towards a healthy walk through life, I hope these series of webinars are going to be useful to all the participants on screen and also on who are listening on Facebook Live. And now I invite the moderator of today's session, Ms. Sampada Agnihotri, to please proceed further.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. So I welcome you all to the second week of the Advances of Public Health Nutrition, National Nutrition Month celebration. And today I would like to introduce our speaker of the day, Ms. Sabat Ansari. I would just share my screen. Is my screen visible? Okay. Ms. Sabat Ansari is a graduate and master's in the public health nutrition from Department of Foods and Nutrition, the Faculty of Family and Community Sciences, Raja Sahajirao University of Baroda, Vadodara. She cleared her UGC National Eligibility Test JRF in 2019 and currently pursuing her PhD in Foods and Nutrition under the guidance of Professor Dr. Vanisha Nambiar ma'am. She has a 1-year experience in teaching at the Parul University, Gujarat, and over there she taught undergraduate and postgraduate students. She successfully completed a Nutrition International's 15 module adolescent nutrition and anemia course. She Volume 1 of Indian Food Anthropology and the Eat Right movement published by the Selective and Scientific Books, New Delhi. She has also 2 papers published in her name. The one is a review article titled as Review of Progress Towards Anemia Mukt Bharat, and the second one is an original titled as Mukhwa's Mix, Indian Mouth Fresheners and Their Potential Role in Reducing Micronutrient Malnutrition. She has also presented many papers and posters in various conferences and webinars. And now I would like to welcome her and to welcome her to give her talk on adolescent anemia. Please welcome Ms. Sabat Ansari. Ms. Sabat, over to you.
Thank you, Sampada, for the very kind introduction.
Sabat, would you like to share your screen or should I share my screen?
You can share the presentation,
Okay.
Sampada.
Yes.
So before I begin with the presentation, I would like to take this opportunity to wish everyone a very happy Poshan Ma. And also I would like to thank our mentor, my guide, Professor Dr. Vanisha Nambiar, for bestowing us with this platform to do our bit in participating and celebrating the Rashtriya Poshan Ma. So as you all can see, my topic of presentation today is adolescent anemia. Yeah, Sampada, change the slide. So these are the contents of my presentation that I will be talking about today. Yeah, Sampada, you can change. Anemia. So what is anemia? Anemia is a condition in which the number of red blood cells, that is the hemoglobin, its oxygen carrying capacity is insufficient to meet the body's physiological requirements, which varies by age, gender, altitude, smoking habits, and it also varies during pregnancy. So the causes and classification of anemia. Here are some of the nutritional as well as non-nutritional causes of low hemoglobin that leads to the condition of anemia. So nutritional causes. It's due to poor dietary intake of iron, folic acid, vitamin B12, or enhancer like vitamin C that helps in absorption of iron. Also, low bioavailability of iron. That is like a habitual intake of only cereal-based diet that is high in phytate, and that leads to a poor consumption of iron and absorption of iron in the body, which leads to low stores of iron. Now, some of the non-nutritional causes of low hemoglobin, that is because of parasitic infections such as malaria, repeated and frequent episodes of malaria too can lead to anemia. Helminthic infestation of hookworms, or genetic hemoglobinopathies such as thalassemia or sickle cell disease. Excessive blood loss due to any injury, accident, or due to hemorrhage. Yeah, you can change. So anemia is not a disease. It's just a condition. It's a manifestation which can definitely be prevented and treated. Yeah, you can change. So the classification of anemia, it can be classified into three major types based on the size of the red blood cells. If the size is too small, smaller than the normal, then it is the microcytic anemia. If the size is normal, but the numbers are less, and that is a normocytic anemia. If the size is larger than the normal, it is the macrocytic anemia. Is somebody you can change. So how can we detect and confirm whether a person has anemia or not? So it is by the signs and the symptoms. So the signs and symptoms like breathlessness while climbing a slope or stairs, reduced ability to do physical work, feeling mentally exhausted after doing little bit of work, feeling irritable, or pale tongue, pale palms and soles. So these are some of the signs and symptoms by which we can detect whether a person has anemia or not. And in case these symptoms are present, then one can go for a hemoglobin checkup. And if the cutoff levels are less than 12, then the person is, especially the adolescents, are classified as anemic. Also, the severity range, that is the mild, moderate, and severe, has been given. Yes, Sampada, you can change. So some of the implications and consequences of anemia, that what happens if a person has anemia? What are the consequences? So it leads to reduced physical development, which leads to decreased work output, work capacity, diminished physical and cognitive impairment. It also impacts the pregnancy outcomes. About 20% of the maternal death are caused by anemia worldwide. Also, there is 3 times greater incidence of premature delivery in severely anemic women. Reduced cognitive development, that is diminished concentration, disturbance in perception, delayed psychomotor development, impaired language and motor skills, diminished IQ by a point of 5 to 10. Economic impact, that is, as per the World Health Organization, iron deficiency anemia is the third leading cause of disability adjusted life years lost for females aged between 15 to 44 years. Some more consequences of anemia are listed, wherein again it leads to impaired growth and development, cognitive impairment, irregular menstruation, poor weight gain, behavior alteration, negatively affects the bone mass. Also, anemic adolescent girls, they have a high risk of premature birth, low birth weight, and perinatal mortality after pregnancy. Again, in the infographic, some of the causes and consequences of anemia are highlighted. Next. So adolescence and anemia, how are these two interlinked? So adolescence is a phase in which we see the fastest growth. It is also known as the second window of opportunity, and a growth spurt is seen in the adolescence. It is characterized by physical growth, reproductive maturation, cognitive, functional, and metabolic transformation, physical and lifestyle changes that affect the nutritional needs and eating habits of the adolescents. The adolescent girls are at greater physiological stress because of menstruation. Maintaining nutritional health is of utmost importance for optimum growth and for preventing the future health related problems. So if we see the overall nutritional status of adolescent in India, and if we see the scenario of anemia, 40% girls and 18% boys are anemic. This is as per the Comprehensive National Nutrition Survey that was conducted between 2016 to 2018. Yes, next. So adolescent anemia, it is also a contributing component in the vicious intergenerational cycle of anemia. If an adolescent girl enters reproductive age with low iron stores, she becomes a pregnant woman with anemia, who then gives birth to a newborn with a low hemoglobin and iron stores. If the same is left uncorrected, anemia in infancy and childhood, again, those infants and children, they become adolescents with low, poor hemoglobin and iron stores. Also, there is menstrual blood loss. And this vicious intergenerational cycle of anemia, it keeps on continuing. Next. So talking about the prevalence, the magnitude of anemia in adolescents nationwide. So by the reports, we know that India is home to the largest adolescent population, that is of about 253 million, of which 120 million girls and 133 million boys. These are largest numbers of adolescents in any country globally. So India's economic growth is dependent on its adolescents, who are its demographic advantage, and hence it's important that they are nourished and are growing well. But if we see the prevalence of anemia nationwide, more than 40% prevalence is seen in almost all the states. Yes, somebody. Now talking about our own state, Gujarat, If we see the scenario of anemia, especially in adolescents, it has worsened. Almost more than 10% prevalence points have increased from NFHS 4 to NFHS 5. Yes, Sampath. If we see the situation of our district, Vadodara, again, almost 75% of our adolescents are anemic. So the situation is alarming. The rates are worsening. Yes, Sampath. Moving on to the RDA for iron in adolescents. So if we see here, the RDA for adolescents is usually more for female counterparts as compared to males. It is to make up for the menstrual blood loss that is there in the females. Yes, Sampath. Now, these are some of the balanced diet charts for adolescent boys. If followed, the RDA of iron can be met. Can be started with a glass of milk early in the morning, followed by a heavy, balanced breakfast that can include a stuffed paratha, can be dosa, can be a bowl full of upma, or along with tea, followed by a mid-morning snack of any fruit, followed by lunch, wherein roti, sabzi, the normal diet can be included, followed by tea in the evening, along with some sprout chaat, aloo chaat, followed by the dinner, which can be light, that is around 4 rotis or 1 bowl of rice. So these are some of the sample diet charts by UNICEF, which can be followed in order to prevent and control anemia. Next. Similarly, the sample balanced diet charts are given for adolescent girls as well. Next. Now, these are some of the food items rated based on the amount of nutrient that they give per 100 gram. So as we have seen that anemia is caused due to dietary insufficiency of iron, folate, or B12. So these are the top 10 rated food items that can be included in the daily diets in order to prevent anemia. So for all 3 nutrients that are the leading cause of anemia, the food items have been mentioned. Yes. So now moving on to the policies and programs from the past and the current that are there for preventing and controlling anemia in adolescents. So these are some of the policies and program guidelines that have been developed and are available online. Starting from the first one, the policy for control of nutritional anemia, which was developed in 1991 and included only women. The second one, wherein the adolescent girls were also pitched in, and it was formulated in 2013. Then the wherein the map of India is given, that was formulated in 2018 and is the latest guideline for anemia control. We also have a National Center of Excellence and Advanced Research on Anemia Control at AIIMS in New Delhi. Yes, Sambar. So these are some of the milestones in control of anemia in India. So efforts had been made since 1970 to control iron deficiency anemia in India. In 2013, wherein the weekly and bi-weekly supplementation was started, that's where the adolescent girls were also roped in the program. After a lot of pilot programs and a lot of efforts through UNICEF. Yes, Sampada. Yes, you can check. So these are some of the reports that highlight the experiences of those pilot programs, that why anemia was to be focused even in adolescent girls, school going, out of school. So these guidelines shared some of the experiences, the field experiences, and evidence was generated from these after the NFHS report. And in 2013, finally, the nationwide WIFTS program was rolled out. Yes, Sampada, you can share it. Yeah, as I said, the evidence was generated through these pilot reports of UNICEF. And finally, in 2012, the government of India, it rolled out a national weekly iron folic acid supplementation program that focused on the adolescent girls, school going as well as out of school. And finally, it could reach millions of adolescent girls, and it brought about some really good results. Yes, Sampada, you can change. So with so much of efforts, India now has the largest universal adolescent anemia control program in the world that targets around 115 million adolescent girls and boys. The program plays a pivotal role in protecting adolescents from debilitating effects of anemia, breaking the country's intergenerational cycle of malnutrition, and safeguarding the health and potential of future generations. So good nutrition, including sustaining adequate iron stores, puts all adolescents on the same starting line. Yes. So now what we have is currently the intensified National Iron Plus initiative, just the way forward to make India anemia mukt. Yes, Sampada, you can change. So these are some of the components of Anemia Mukt Bharat that uses the 6x6x6 strategy with 6 beneficiaries, 6 interventions, and 6 institutional mechanisms. It covers adolescents in the life cycle approach. Focusing on the 6 interventions, I'll be talking about all the 6 interventions in detail in the coming slides. Yes, Sampada. Under the Anemia Mukt Bharat, the coordinated management efforts using new methods for screening, that is the digital hemoglobinometers are being used. At district block level, convergence action plans are being made. The National State Anemia Academic Centers, the NCERA, institutional structure for convergence and support, HMIS, anemia scorecards, quarterly MIS data is filled, and quarterly reports are generated, reviews are done, and biannual field checks are done. Year-round behavior change communication campaigns are done through various activities. Like right now, this Rashtriya Poshan Ma is also a kind of a campaign or a contributing event towards the year-round behavior change communication campaign, and also ensuring zero stock out, maintaining the supply chain management, also the development of the dashboard portal, wherein that is the one-stop shop for everything, where you get all the resources, IEC materials, the quarterly report cards, the presentations, IEC materials in all forms, the GIFs, the posters, radio jingles, videos, etc. Yes, Sampan. So moving on to the interventions, the 6 interventions. The first is the supplementation of iron. And for the adolescent girls, they are given the blue tablet. So what is the blue tablet? It is not a medicine. It's a nutritional supplement for iron. It's a prophylactic dose that prevents anemia. So each tablet is coated with sugar because it is meant for adolescent girls who would not like to consume a bitter tablet. That's why it is sugar coated. It contains 100 milligram of elemental iron and 500 microgram of folic acid. It's blue in color to make it stand out from the other IFA tablets that are available for other age groups, like a red tablet available for pregnant women, a pink tablet available for children, and it is recommended to be consumed on weekly basis, and it should be consumed preferably after a meal, and should be avoided to be consumed on an empty stomach, as it can lead to adverse effects. Yes, Amber. So, no doubt, IFA tablet supplementation is important, but it is not the only solution. We also need to take iron-rich foods in the diet. I've already given the top 10 iron-rich foods earlier. These are some more, wherein you can include the green leafy vegetables in the diet, and also you can take care that you do consume vitamin C rich foods in your diet, and you avoid intake of inhibitors. Yes, Sampada. So some of the enhancers that help in the absorption of iron are the vitamin C rich foods, that is our citrus, fruits and vegetables. It can be the gooseberry, amla, lemon, kiwi, other citrus, juicy fruits that should be consumed along with the iron-rich foods so that the iron from the food, it gets better absorbed in the body. Inhibitors. So what are the inhibitors? They are basically the caffeine, the junk food items, could be carbonated beverages that are other junk food that is high in sugar, salt, and fat. Also, one should avoid alcohol, smoking in all its forms. Second intervention, that is to deworm. Deworm to keep the worms away. So for that, the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has implemented the National Deworming Day that is celebrated biannually in the month of February and August, wherein the beneficiaries or the target population is the children and adolescents between the age of 1 and 19 years every 6 months. Yes, Sampada. So these are some of the positive behaviors that should be followed in order to prevent worm infestation. So these are really basic hygiene behaviors, like keep your surrounding clean, wear shoes, especially when you are visiting the toilets. Also when you are walking in the field. So ensure that you are wearing slippers and not walking barefoot. Wash your hands thoroughly with soap before eating and after using toilet, because that too can be an entry point of those worms to get infested in the body through the hands. Also, wash the fruits and vegetables using clean water. Keep food covered. Always drink clean water and keep nails short, as these can become the entry point for the worm infestation. Yes, next. So the third intervention. Layout. That's it. It's okay. Thank you. So the third intervention, that is intensified year-round behavior change communication and ensuring delayed cord clamping in newborn. So there is sufficient evidence that repeated engagement using consistent key messages is required for any behavior to change or initiate a new behavior into practice. So 4 behaviors are to be addressed, that is compliance to IFA and deworming, appropriate IYCF with emphasis on complementary foods for children more than 6 months, increased intake of iron and vitamin C rich foods through dietary diversification, increasing the quantity, the frequency, and also through food fortification. Practice of delayed cord clamping, that is at least after 3 minutes after birth, until the cord pulsations stops. So in all the health facilities, deliveries followed by early initiation of breastfeeding within 1 hour of birth. So these are the key behaviors that are to be focused and are to be conveyed consistently. Like the same message should be given all round the year at intervals. Yes, Sampath. The fourth intervention, that is mandatory provision of iron fortified foods in government health programs. So the government of India has mandated the use of fortified salt, wheat flour, and oil in food served under the Integrated Child Development Services, that is ICDS. The hot cooked meal supplementary nutrition is provided at the Anganwadi centers. So whatever food is prepared in the Anganwadi center, it should be prepared using the fortified salt, wheat flour, and oil. Similarly, the food that is made in the midday meal program for the school children, it should also be made from the fortified ingredients. So all health facility based programs where food is being provided is mandated to provide fortified wheat, rice with iron, folic acid, and vitamin B12, salt with iodine and iron, that is commonly known as the DFS, double fortified salt, and oil with vitamin A and D as per the standards for fortification of staple foods, salt, wheat, rice, milk, and oil, prescribed and notified by the Food Standards Safety Authority of India. Yes. So the fifth intervention, that is the test and treat strategy for pregnant women and the adolescents. So this is the standard protocol that is to be followed for the adolescents, wherein all the adolescent girls coming to the school are to be screened for anemia by the RBSK team members, and upon finding out that the girls are anemic, the first level treatment is to be done in case they are mild or moderately anemic, and in case the adolescent girls are found to be severely anemic, they are to be referred to the nearest health facility. Yes, Sampada. The sixth and the last intervention, that is to intensify the awareness, screening, and treatment of the non-nutritional causes of anemia in the endemic pockets, with special focus on malaria, sickle cell anemia, and fluorosis. So for malaria, the states need to identify their malaria endemic districts and blocks and converge with initiatives such as prevention and control of nutritional anemia, contact points with active and passive case detection, and management as per the guidelines for diagnosis and treatment of malaria. For sickle cell disease, they have a different card, that is and these patients are therefore to be managed by symptomatic treatment as per the national guidelines on prevention and control of hemoglobinopathies. For fluorosis, high fluoride concentration in the food and water leads to destruction of gastrointestinal mucosa and thus reduces the iron absorption in the body, and thus it leads to anemia. So for this also, the water content of the places can be checked, that the fluoride content is not more than 1 parts per million. And in case it is found, then indigenous filters can be used to treat the water for same. Yes, Sampada. So this is specific for adolescents. The 4 mantras that all adolescents need to remember, and these are summarized in the mantra booklet designed for the adolescents. The 4 mantras to make adolescents solid and smart. The first mantra, that is eat healthy and balanced diet. Second, always remember the blue tablet for prevention of anemia and iron deficiency. Third, to keep the worms away. That is through the deworming by albendazole. Fourth, maintain personal hygiene and sanitation in the surrounding. Yes, Sampada. So now, from whatever little experience that I have, I'll share some of the field experiences about anemia in the adolescent girls. Yes, Sampada. So this is from internship in 2018, 3 years back, that we did in aspirational district Dahod and Narmada. Outside one of the Anganwadi center in Dahod, we found these unexpired tablets of albendazole and IFA, both meant for pregnant women and also for adolescent girls, that were thrown in the backyard. So this picture basically has been shared over here to share that the importance of these IFA tablets is somewhere not known by both the beneficiaries as well as the functionaries. Otherwise, these non-expired tablets would not have been thrown this way. Also, from our experiences, we found a lot of expired IFA syrup bottles lying in the cupboards and were not used. So this is the field reality, or the field picture practical. Next is the picture of a girl from Dahod again. During our internship, we interviewed almost 265 adolescent girls. Out of those, this Nirali Meda was the only girl who possessed knowledge about anemia, who at least knew ways of preventing and controlling anemia. So that is the gap, the knowledge gap that is there in the adolescents, that they do not know about anemia, that what are its causes, how can they prevent it just by taking this IFA supplement. So next, these are the pictures from my dissertation work from some villages of Garudeshwar, wherein repeated messages were given and compliance was ensured. Also, the adolescents were sensitized about the importance of enhancers. So this was the change that we could observe in our study, that the students, they brought lemon from their home and used to squeeze it on their midday meals. Yes. Sampada can change. So this is the actual celebration of National Deworming Day, wherein videos are shown to the children, and really wonderful toolkit is available about deworming for private schools, for Anganwadi centers, in order to sensitize the students as well as the community people about deworming. So it was celebrated wherein all the school children who attended on 10th February, the albendazole tablets were given. Now again, a behavior change. We conducted some rallies wherein in the rallies, the students participated barefoot. Like they came for the rallies without wearing slippers. And our main was to bring about a behavior change. So we tried to sensitize the teachers again, tried to explain them the importance of wearing slippers and how it could lead to worm infestation. So this was the change. Yes, Sampada can change. That later on, all the kids, they wore slippers, at least during the rallies. So in order to reduce this prevalence of anemia, it cannot be achieved or it cannot be done by one single organization or ministry or any department. For this, convergence is required, teamwork is required. So this is how a block level convergence action plan was created, and this is just team of one village, wherein the teacher was included, the ANM of the village, the Anganwadi worker, the ASHA worker, the Sangini, who was a field level worker of NGO, who were involved. Also the Gram Panchayat people, that is the Sarpanch, were involved. Those were sensitized about the graveness of the situation of anemia. And they were asked to plan activities that they would do in their village in order to prevent and control anemia. So with their efforts and help and coordination and support, some change was brought in the villages where I did my dissertation. Yes, next, Sampada. So with this, I conclude that get iron rich. And because iron is like the gold for your body, less the iron, less will be the hemoglobin, and it will lead to anemia. So make sure you take the supplement, the deworming tablets are taken, and inhibitors are avoided. Slippers are worn in the field. Test and treat strategy, fortified foods, iron rich food is consumed every day, a balanced diet is taken. In the malaria endemic region, insecticide medicated bed nets are used. So with all this, somewhere we can reduce anemia. It is doable. Making India anemia mukt is something that is possible with efforts from everyone's end. So with this, I conclude my presentation. Next are some of the references that I have used in making this presentation. And thank you. Open to questions and queries.
Thank you, Sabad, for this very extensive and informative talk. Now I would like to take some questions that are there in chat box. or anybody who wants to ask some questions, please.
Could I start with the questions? Vanisha ma'am, Sampada, could I start?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
maximum you can start. You can ask a question.
Okay, Sabat, first of all, it was a very good presentation. Before I put up the questions, I would like to congratulate you. It was a very comprehensive presentation. You covered everything right from causes, consequences, the recommended diets, the programs and policies, and then the Anemia Mukt Bharat strategy. You explain each and every intervention, plus your field level experiences. So that entire thing made this presentation very, very comprehensive, very, very elaborate. Plus, it gave us complete knowledge about adolescent anemia. So, congratulations, Sabat.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Means a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Sabat, my question is, you spoke about deworming as an intervention.
Yes, ma'am.
So maybe I missed it. I just wanted to know, deworming, is it also recommended for pregnant women? Because we are talking about children, school children and all. Is it also recommended during pregnancy?
Yes, ma'am. Like if we see the guidelines available for the maternal nutrition or any of the maternal related programs, so in
Right.
there the albendazole same tablet is there that can be given even to the pregnant women. It has no adverse effects, and in case there is worm infestation, it would just improve the situation. So it can be given, but if you ask about the only the National Deworming Day operational
Mansi, can you
guidelines,
mute yourself? Yeah,
uh,
sorry, there's so much of echoing. Mansi, please mute yourself. Thanks. Sabat, continue.
so maternal programs per se, yes, in the field they are given the albendazole tablets. The pregnant women are included, but for the National Deworming Day or the National Deworming Program per se, the pregnant women are not included in that. On the National Deworming Day itself, the pregnant women are not enlisted or are not given IFA, sorry, the albendazole on that particular day. But otherwise, during their pregnancy, during their ANC checkups, the albendazole tablet is given, one tablet. 400 milligrams.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Sabat. Sabat, another thing, actually, I just wanted to point it out. Now, if we
Yes,
look
ma'am.
at the Anemia Mukt Bharat strategy and the recommendations, I think we have moved on from the 100 milligram dosage of the tablet.
60.
Yeah, correct. So I just wanted to point that out because if it might be possible still at field level, if we go, we still see the 100 milligram tablet, but then I think the recommendations say that we've moved on to 60. So that is just one thing that I
Yes,
wanted to.
yes, ma'am. That is there even in the operational guidelines and some of the info sheets that are available on their dashboard portal. So some of the publications they still mention the 100 milligram, and 100 milligram is what is being still followed in the field. And what's new in Anemia Mukt Bharat, that's where they have pointed this out, that it has been shifted from 60, because earlier also it was 60, then it became 100, and now again they have made a shift to 60, but it is still not there in practice. Like the if we talk about the tablet itself, so 60 milligram tablet is not made, like a blue color 60 milligram elemental iron, it would not be available. So it's 100 that is used, but 60 that is there in the newer publications. But if we see the operational guidelines, it still says 100 milligram.
Right. Thank you, Sabat. Thank you so much.
Thanks, thanks, Mansi, for asking this very important question about even the IFA quantity as well as what is the elemental iron given, and also about deworming in pregnant ladies. because we have evidence that the soil transmitted helminth infection is a huge problem in India, especially for the pregnant women. And we have national as well as international evidence that deworming has had a positive impact on the outcomes. But as far as India is concerned, we do not have uniform national guidelines for use of anti-helminths during the pregnancy in the country. However, there are some states they do have deworming as a part of ANC package. But yes, albendazole and mebendazole and other are also given. These are all case based.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Sabat, I would echo what Mansi said about the presentation. It was a very good attempt and very confident and coverage of a lot of data and information in your presentation. Over to you, Sampada, for asking more
Yes,
questions.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Sabat, Ms. Karamjit is asking, what is the effect of fortification on bioavailability of iron?
Okay. See, studies and researches have been conducted about this, that what about the bioavailability, whether does it improve the hemoglobin levels upon supplementing the diet with these, be it the double fortified salt or other staples that are fortified. So if we see the research, so it does improve the hemoglobin levels. But somewhere in practice, if we say, and I tell from my field experiences, the Sattva was the brand that was used for this double fortified salt, and micro encapsulation of iron was done, because when salt was fortified with iron, it turned black. So whenever this double fortified salt was used in any of the recipes, it turned the recipe quite blackish in color, and which wasn't very acceptable to the people. So if you talk about the bioavailability, yes, it will be bioavailable, but acceptability of the same, the fortified thing, is still a question mark, like whether
I
people
think
really accept it or not.
so. Sabat, I think Karamjit is asking what is the impact of fortification
Ma'am, it does improve.
on the. So depends on, see, there are two things that can come up from this question. Is this, what is the chemical that you're going to use for
Yes,
fortification of iron? Iron, whether it is ferrous fumarate or
ferrous.
whether it is sulfate. Okay, that's number one. But both of them are 100% or around 95 to 100% available. That is not the question. The question is, if what is it that you're using it with? Are you eating it with enhancers or are you eating it with inhibitors? The issue is about how do you improve the bioavailability of this iron, which is, suppose you're taking in the form of a capsule also. So you need to educate the population about ascorbate, use of citrate, and you also need to educate the people about what are the inhibitors. Okay, so using a fortified material with either ferrous fumarate or sulfate is a secondary issue. The primary issue in Indians is absorption, because you eat so many inhibitors along with your meal and
Yes.
less of enhancers, that your overall bioavailability of iron in the body is not the way it is required. Okay, so that is a major problem. We have so much of phytates, tannates, and oxalates in our diet, so that has to be taken care of. Okay, next.
Yes, ma'am. Even the combinations, the nutrient interaction, if we say the oxalates, phytates are present. Even this palak paneer combination, wherein spinach is rich in iron, but if we add calcium rich paneer to it, doesn't really get absorbed. That's what it is said. So the bioavailability definitely remains a question mark. Depending on the inhibitors and the enhancers, that how you are actually consuming it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, Sampada.
There is another question. How to improve the quality of our daily homemade recipes for the improvement of the iron status of families?
Okay. So for this, the top 10 rich foods from each category, iron, folate, and B12, those can be looked upon, and those food items can be included or incorporated in our daily diets. To name a few, even these seeds are quite rich in iron. So even if you take 2 to 3 spoonful of seeds, the flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, just dry roast them and take them as mukwas. It can somewhere improve the iron status. And as we've already spoken about the role of enhancers, so taking lemon sharbat or anything made out of these citrus fruits, so that can be taken along with the iron rich foods in order to improve the iron status. Also, including green leafy vegetables and other iron rich, making it a habit, that making it a part of your daily routine lifestyle. So somewhere if you make those changes, the iron status would improve.
Thank you, Sabat. Anyone has any question?
Like I can add one more thing. I said that you
Sure.
can make dry roast them and make mukwas. Similarly, you can dry roast them, powder them, and then add it to your curries. So that way also you can improve the quality of whatever recipes you are making. So there are ways. And
Exactly.
it would also somewhere should take into consideration the ethnicity, because somewhere from where you belong, that affects a lot of your dietary practices. And to change the dietary practices is a big thing. It's quite takes time.
Even I have a one question. Can I ask, Sabat?
Sure, Sampada.
So right now you said that ethnicity and along with that along with that culture, some traditions are also attached.
Yes.
So there are certain myths
Yes.
also, so regarding the iron rich foods, which are actually iron rich foods and people are not taking it in a daily diet. So have you come across any kind of myths in your field experiences?
Myths, if we say, so we do have a lot of myths that are regarding pregnancy and during the early initiation of this breastfeeding, around that time, use of pre-lacteals. But iron per se, or anything that is considered iron rich but still not used, nothing of that sort.
Okay.
In
Thank
fact,
you.
people have poor knowledge about
Right.
iron rich foods.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
these even these indigenous green leafy vegetables, these are underutilized. They would be having a tree, or they would be having a backyard, or moringa tree would be there, but still they would not use the moringa leaves. Similarly, other local green leafy vegetables would be growing in their locality, but due to lack of knowledge about the nutritional content and its benefits, might be that it's not being practiced, that they make any recipe out of it. So all these local things are underutilized.
Thank you so much, Samad. Ma'am, it's almost a time. Ma'am,
Okay.
yes,
Thank you so much, Sampada, for a wonderful moderation. And I hope this very, very pertinent problem of iron deficiency anemia gets sorted very soon. And the solutions are not very difficult. See, the bioavailability of iron from our Indian meals, if they are mixed diets, like it's vegetarian or non-vegetarian mixed diet, is only 14 to 18%. Whereas the vegetarian, for vegetarians, the bioavailability is just ranging from 5 to 12%. So whole issue is what are you eating? The question which Devanshi asked, that what can we do for a common man? For a common man, we need to teach them combination. Food combination is very important. Teach them who are the friends of iron and who are the enemies. That means who are the what are the things which enhance the availability of iron, and what are the inhibitors. The simple solutions are understand your phytates, polyphenols, calcium, and proteins, and understand your ascorbates, your citrate, which are helpful in enhancing the iron. So a meal which is balanced meal is going to take care of correct bioavailability. And you also need to ensure that simple vitamin C rich foods like amla and lemon or other citrus fruits are consumed daily in every meal. And Sabat, it should begin from you. And we need to see a change in your nutritional status within a month. Okay.
Definitely, ma'am. I'm
So
working
on a
on that.
national platform, I'm now taking a commitment from you that your meals should be balanced and you need to improve your hemoglobin status. So thank you so much for giving an insightful presentation, and charity begins from home. So I hope all of you understand, practice, and also share the knowledge that is there with you. So with this, we close this seminar. Next session is tomorrow at 9 a.m.
No,
See
ma'am.
you all tomorrow.
No, ma'am.
No, tomorrow is
16.
holiday, right? Yeah. So
Ma'am, yeah, ma'am, tomorrow is holiday. The next session is on Thursday. The next Thursday, that is on 1 a.m., 1 p.m., sorry.
okay,
And
okay.
everybody, please join with us to celebrate our nutrition month. Hoping for more number of people to join in the next session. Ma'am, shall I conclude the session now?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for giving us this opportunity, and thank you, Ms. Sabat, for this very informative and eye-opening talk. Ms. Sabat started by giving us explaining what is anemia. Told about all the causes and classification of anemia. What could be the nutritional and non-nutritional causes that leads to low hemoglobin levels? How we could detect and confirm the anemia, what are its signs and symptoms present in the adolescents, then what could be its implications and consequences, and what are its effect on economy also, that she told that economy gets impact, and it is the third leading cause of the anemia, and the consequences of anemia in detail, that how it affect on the growth of an adolescent. Then she talked about the intergenerational cycle, the vicious cycle, and what are the prevalences present in our populations. We started with the national prevalence, that we have the largest population of adolescent in our India, and among that 40% of all states are observing anemia. And she also told about the Gujarat and Vadodara status also. All the adolescent RDS she mentioned, some of the sample diet she gave, some 10 foods that could help to prevent anemia. She discussed about some policies and programs related to anemia, that how is the government is actually trying to prevent the anemia in adolescents. And at the end, she is also giving apart from all the policies and the programs, she also talked about the supplementation, what are the leading supplementation is still there in our programs and policies. then what could be the enhancers and inhibitors should be taken care of while consuming the iron-rich foods, and the some of the interventions she also mentioned. So and along with those interventions in details, she also gave us the 4 mantras to make adolescent solid and smart by having a healthy and balanced diet, then eating the blue tablet that is supplemented by the government, prevent anemia and iron deficiency by having having iron rich food, prevent worm infestation, follow all the guidelines for the deworming, and be smart by maintaining personal hygiene and sanitation. She also shared her field experiences and in the aspirational district of Dahod, and over there she told her grave experiences, how the expired and throw all the iron tablets are thrown away. And after that they also sensitized the adolescents, and they saw some changes in those adolescent population by the reason that they brought lemon from their home and squeeze it on the midday meal on a daily basis. Even they celebrated the deworming day and participated by wearing sleepers. And she also focuses over the teamwork, and that how the teamwork could help, how the ANM, ASHA workers, Sangini, AWW, then teachers and Sarpanch could make a team. So thank you for all this informative talk, Sabat. So I hope all the teamwork will help to change the anemia prevalence in future. So uh, our hard work and perseverance would definitely change the future and reduces the anemia prevalence in our population. Now I would like to conclude the session. Please join us for the next session, that is on next Thursday at 1 a.m. Thank you.